All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on December 7th at 7 p.m. Today we have our next Bigger and Better Business Entrepreneurial One-on-One workshop. It's presented by our very own Brother Michael Council. Brother Council is a very esteemed brother. He is very skilled in many different areas in entrepreneurship and information technology. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Brother Council and let him go ahead and present. Brother Counselor, the show is yours.
All right. Hey, Brother Remy, thank you very much. Thank you for the great introduction. I'd like to welcome everybody to uh, our Better Business, Bigger and Better Business Series, Entrepreneurship 101 class. Michael Council, just a little bit about me. Uh, been doing entrepreneurship things a long time, since 1988, actually. Started with my own little paper routes, selling things, selling cell phones and things like that. But when I dug a little bit deeper, I just realized I had a side hustle. We'll discuss that more in the future. But right now, I'm the founder and managing partner of EC Technology Consulting Services. So let's get started. All right, so let's just do a little talk about entrepreneurship a little bit. Where it comes back, we'll do an introduction to entrepreneurship. So modern day markets. One key thing I want you to realize and understand with entrepreneurship is value, right? We want to deliver value. I always think the key is value. So entrepreneurship, it came about, it arose because of a whole lot of issues. Innovation, were the things that people were doing, were they the right thing? Were they making products the best way that they can make them for the cheapest amount so they can get more money on their sales? Were they bringing new and model products, new markets when they open, reorganization of business? So these are a lot of things that entrepreneurs do, why they exist. But let's dig a little bit deeper. So if you want to become an entrepreneur, there are several definitions of entrepreneurship. I'll give you an opportunity to look at this slide, but the biggest thing I want you to kind of take away from this slide, hey, they're individuals, they're going to take action, they're going to recognize an opportunity, they're going to assess that opportunity, see if it's any market value, is any place for this opportunity to be on the value, so they can make profit, right? They're going to measure their risk. So that's one of the most important things I want you to pull from this slide. And another thing we see on the bottom, it talks about the role of an entrepreneur. Uh, as an entrepreneur, I tell you, you wear a lot of hats. So you're going to do a lot of different roles. So that you need to make sure that you're well-rounded, that you're continuing to educate yourself and read and network and talk to other entrepreneurs, because you can be the CEO, you can be the secretary the next day you're out there, you're mopping. So as you start to scale your business, you wear several different hats. What are some of the characteristics, right? Who are you? You need to know who you are. You need to do a self-assessment, because entrepreneurship is just not for everybody. But I want you to keep in mind, keep doing it. Most entrepreneurs, they're vision oriented people. They can see things not just right here in the present, they can see things in the future. They need to have high achievement. They want to achieve things. They want to achieve multiple tasks. Um, they don't rely on faith or luck. Sometimes they say entrepreneurs can be lucky. However, most entrepreneurs, they have systems in place. So as an entrepreneur, when you start your business, a lot of times you'll start out and you may have no systems in place and you're fumbling around and you discover success. But as you continue to grow and input into yourself and grow as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, you'll look around and you'll see some of the books as you're reading, and you'll start to set up systems, operating procedures, and things like that that will help you and assist you along as you do your work and as you start to scale. So what do entrepreneurs do? Well, actually, entrepreneurs do a lot. This is just a few things, but they look, like I said, they find those opportunities. They transform businesses. So if you have a business and it's not doing well, and you're looking into that business, and you can either offer to assist to help that business improve, or you can take your skills and go on the road and make your own business from that same framework. But a lot of people get their MBAs, they go back and they look and they assess the businesses that they're in. And once they're released from their responsibility of staying, if the business paid for the MBA, they go out and work on their own. So, but also you have to remember you have your risk and you have your reward. So as you measure the opportunity, some of the risks that entrepreneurs have: healthcare, 401k plans. Those are some of the things that keep people from being an entrepreneur. So like I said, if you're working at a business and you want to be an entrepreneur, make sure that you have a plan for your health care and some of the other things, benefits that are included in that business before you go out and be an entrepreneur on your own. However, you can always take that business revenue and the money that you're making from that business, start your own business on the side. And then as you grow, your business starts to grow, and it could be successful enough to replace your income from that other opportunity. So, are entrepreneurs born or are they made? Well, I can tell you this: no matter what, I really feel that entrepreneurs are made. You are born with a set of skills, and as you grow up and you grow socially, you develop a set of skills from your culture and from other things that you have been exposed to in your life. Could be from theoretical education, but that's not the only way, right? The theoretical education from college, or you can have a technical education or a hands-on education, technical schools. You can do apprenticeships. So there are a lot of ways for you to go out and to become an entrepreneur, or to learn the skills that you need that you're going to put in place to be an entrepreneur. But here are some of the 6 skills that Harvard Business School recommends for entrepreneurs. And these aren't all encompassing, but I will tell you, in my day-to-day interactions in my business, these are some of the things I work with all the time. Finance skills. So what do I mean by finance skills? So in finance, you just have to realize that you're going to be looking at business documents and financial statements, balance sheets, profits and loss sheets. So if you don't have a natural acumen or you don't have that skill set, don't worry about it. There's always videos, but also books. So there's always books you can read, books that you bring up that you can look at and do references to. You got to have a reference library. And if you know you're weak in that specific area, you can go ahead and do one of 2 things. You could go to school and become strong in that area, but that's not the skill set you're using, right? Or you can go ahead and decide to hire. So there are many different ways that you can hire people to help you in finance: bookkeepers, CPAs, and tax experts to help you out. So networking is very important. If you look at your network, and people always say your network is your net worth. Your network is your net worth. What they mean by that is, if you look at the people that you hang around and the people that you have in your circle of influence, and you're trying to go somewhere, if these people don't have the same interests, or they're not moving in the same direction that you're moving in, they may not be the best people for you to be around in your entrepreneurial journey. Another way for you to network, you have social media networks, right? That you're out there that you can go ahead and pull from your social media networks, your Facebooks, your Twitters, and things like that. So you have social media campaigns. But also there's just old school networking, shaking hands and going out to different things, to going out to different conferences. So in cybersecurity, we have conferences all over the place. We have a cybersecurity conference coming up. I just left a conference in Orlando, Florida, that was for ITSEC so it was for modeling and simulations personnel. So just kind of expanding out. If you want to do business with, say, lawyers, You can just go ahead and look up in the phone book or look on the internet and say, okay, hey, what's the next lawyers conference? So you have to get out there and network and put the word out that you have a business and that you're looking to do business. Another thing about your network, remember we talked about the finance skills. If you don't have the innate skills or you weren't classically trained in finance, when you go out there, you can go and look for a finance professional to help you out. All right, so communication, speaking confidently and clearly, communicating your message, whether it be on video, in person, or actually in an email. You have to make sure that your messages are concise and they convey what you want to say. A lot of people are using chat GPT. I have nothing against chat GPT. I just recommend that when you're writing messages or you're writing professional papers and you use chat GPT, that you check the information that's put out from chat GPT or any other AI source to ensure that it's right and it's correct. Also, you need to ensure that you understand the information that you're putting out. So go ahead and do that extra research, but you can use chat GPT to assist on day-to-day tasks to help you scale and move quicker and on things like emails and things like that. But writing a white paper or something like that, I would recommend, kind of writing that paper on your own and maybe getting like a little input from chat GPT, but don't be like some lawyers they have out there and do closing arguments with chat GPT alone. I don't think that turned out well for them. So you must be self-aware as an entrepreneur. You must accept and act on feedback. So as you go out and look at these networks and look and talk to people, find mentors, coaches, and people that can assist you in your journey as an entrepreneur, your growth, you have to be able to go ahead and put your ego aside and accept that information that they're providing to you, accept that feedback that they're giving you, because they may have already been through um, that area that you're or that friction point that you're going through right now, or they may have learned it classically. But there's no need to have an expert or someone in your circle if you're not going to be able to go ahead and be humble and accept feedback. It's very important. You must be able to recognize patterns and do data analysis. What do I mean by that? Later on in the slide, we'll talk about something called KPIs. I know most of you in this group, you already know what a KPI is. KPI, key performance indicator. So these are small little things or small little tidbits of data information that when you look at, you can go ahead and say, hey, yes, okay, because what I said on my strategy, my marketing strategy, or my financial strategy, this is where I wanted to be at this time, or you looking at the scale or the growth of your company. So these are some of the things that you can go ahead and take a look at, assess the data to see if you're doing the right things. If you're not, you can go ahead and change what you're doing. You can either increase the amount of resources that you have doing those particular tasks, or you can pull back depending on what's going on. Really important. We go back to those financial skills when you're looking at your profit and loss statements and your cash flow statements. When the money's funny at the end of the month, you got to go back and have something on paper to look at that. I will tell you from personal experience, when I first started my business, I really wasn't keeping those things until tax season came around, and then I scrambled to get them done. Well, if you keep them, you can use them for your KPIs and see if you're generating the growth that you're trying to create. Growth mindset. So the key thing here is we have to get rid of the scarcity mindset. What is the scarcity mindset? Scarcity mindset saying that you know what, this can't be possible for me because everyone's doing it already. There's nothing left over for me. So you have to get rid of that mindset and understand that as an entrepreneur, things are going to be hard. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, peaks and valleys throughout your whole entire journey. But go ahead and continue to feed your mind with being around the right people, looking at the right videos, right? As you take time scrolling through TikTok, go ahead and start to feed that algorithm so it's feeding you the things that you need, like P&L statements, communication, and things like that. go ahead and start looking at those type of videos so you can improve your communication and speak confidently so you can improve your business. And what we have on the right-hand side, do you know yourself? Do you know how you communicate? How are you going to take and wrap all these skills once you really have them and communicate them to someone that's working in your organization? Are you going to be rough with that person in your organization? Are you always going to be task-minded or direct and definitive? Or are you going to be introspective or use influence and, be the life of the party and be everyone's friend and try to get them to do the task? How are you going to try to influence them to do the task? Or are you sincere or conscientious? So there's this thing called a DISC personality test. At the end of this slideshow, I actually have a link to the DISC personality test. It'll take you about 15 minutes. What this test will do, it'll assess you in those 15 minutes. It'll ask you a battery of questions, and it will spit out results, whether you're dominant, influence-minded, steady, or conscientious, right? So to tell you how you communicate. Now, when it spits it out, it's going to be in a graph. One to be higher than the other. Some of them may be even across, but I ask for your own benefit that you be honest about everything, all the questions when you're looking at it, because it'll make the test more effective. All right, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty. I know a lot of times we don't want to talk about theory. We want to know, how can I start a business? Why am I sitting here with you at 8 o'clock at night? So I will tell you, I will take you through the 10 steps to start a business, get your business going, have your business recognized by the state and the federal government, get some tax benefits from having a business that you can work along and kind of counterbalance your W-2 wages. But I will tell you, I am not a CPA, nor am I a lawyer. At certain points in these stages, I recommend that you talk to a CPA or a lawyer. So right now, because of course we have in our economy, a lot of things are done through the internet, and there's a lot of small businesses out there. It's a lot cheaper than it was in the past, and there's a lot of resources that you can start. You can look online and talk and go through these steps. But one of the best resources for this is the SBA, or the Small Business Association. So if you look on the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see where I got the resources. This is from the SBA Business Guide, 10 Steps to Form Your Business. So that's another thing that I will share on the slides at the end. And if you go ahead and put your information in the chat, I have Mr. Remy here. He'll go ahead and take down your email address, and I can email the sheet out to you so you can have these resources. All right. So what's the first thing you want to do? You want to conduct market research. Remember, we talked about what an entrepreneur does, right? He's innovative, but all the innovation in the world doesn't help. It won't work at all if you don't have a market for what you're doing. So if you're out here trying to sell flip-flops in Antarctica, that might not be the best place to do that. Now, if you're selling flip-flops in Antarctica in a nice warm home, you may have a smaller market. But wouldn't it be better to sell flip-flops in California? So you do that analysis. And there's actually places you can go online that will show you how to do market analysis. Look at the data trends. Remember, one of those skills we talked about you need as an entrepreneur, and say, hey, you know what? I have this skill set. I want to be a speaker. I want to be a speaker. I have a good relationship. I'm spiritual. I'm religious. So I want to go ahead and bring the Lord to a larger group of people in my age group. I want to start a social media channel. So you look at those data trends. Is there a space? So you do competitive analysis. What is competitive analysis? If you're bringing something to the market that's not new or innovative or a new product, guess what? You have to see who your competition is. You have to see if there's a large enough slice left over in the market for you to go ahead and fill that void. Then you have to start to look at advantages. There's a lot of people or a lot of influencers out there, but you may have a way, or you may have your own special way to present that information. So look for that competitive advantage. All right, so most people don't do this, but I will tell you, nobody would go out in the desert or even on the streets these days without putting on their navigation, right? Everyone goes on trips these days. When you're navigating from, say, New York down to South Carolina or from here to Florida, I mean, we don't use maps like we used to anymore. So we use navigation, but navigation are just digital representations of maps, right? And they make it easier. Your business plan is your map to what you're doing for your business. You have to have a start point and you have to have an end point. Your business plan is going to talk you through some of the market analysis. It's going to help you set up your mission statement, your vision statement. Those things are saying, what do you want to do? What do you want people to see? Your mission statement when they look at your organization, right? So there's different formats. You have a traditional, which is a multi-page formatted business plan, but on one of the tools that I'll give you at the end will actually have both formats, and it'll have a template in there so you can go on. But the best thing about SBA, I'll save it for the end. They will help you on it. So let's determine how much will you need. You have to fund your business. How are you going to fund your business? Most people are starting small business, internet-based business. Influencers start their businesses internet-based. They had influencers a long time ago. They were using phone calls. They were going out, moving about. You know, back in the day, influencer was called a politician, right? But now it's other areas that people are influencing, helping in marketing. So starting your business, you want to determine how you're going to fund your business. What are some of the options? You can self-fund, right? Like I said, if you have that skill, you're working for an organization, and in that organization, they're telling you, hey, you know what? Hey, we're going to send you get an MBA. We're going to give you these skill sets. You can come back and work for us. So you can use those skills that you learned, or the technical school. You can use those skills that you learn, kind of get yourself together, look at a business plan, do the marketing, and then you can decide to fund your business by using your job. This is probably the most common way people are funding. So investors or loans, depending on what type of business. If you're innovation, you know, they have angel funds, they have small private equity funds for you to fund your business. One of the most common loans that people are using for their business are small business loans through the SBA. Right now, rates are kind of high, so I wouldn't recommend that. But you just have to step back and determine how you're going to schedule and pay for your business at the beginning. But it should be small at the beginning, right? You want to start lean. Pick a business location. Where are you going to be? Are you the type of business where you're going to need a brick and mortar location? Well, if you're going to pick that location, that's in part of your funding, right? Some of that stuff you're writing up, you're putting that budget together. Are you going to have rent? Okay, if you want to avoid some of those costs and those responsibilities at the beginning, you can go ahead and look at forming your business online, or you can start an in-home business, or you can start a business inside a van. We actually have a barber that goes around here. He's pretty good, and he cuts your hair inside of his modified van. So there's a lot of different ways. You don't have to look at a brick and mortar location only. Sometimes you have to be innovative, think outside of the box. Coffee shops, I've seen a lot of people, you know, use their home as their business location, but they're doing all their business in coffee shops and shared work locations. So you just have to see, what do you need for your business? Do I need a steady internet connection all the time, or just during my marketing? Do I need electricity to cut people hair? So you have to go through all this analysis and evaluation process as you're setting up your business. And that's the good thing, to reach back and talk about the business plan. What expenses are you going to have? Zoning. If you open up a car wash, can you put that in a commercial location or residential or mix? So you have to see, because zoning is very important, because not only is it going to say what you can put there, but it's going to talk about the footfall, how many people are going to come in there. You don't want to put a car wash or a laundromat out in the country where nobody can get to it. So these things are real important. So when we talk about that, state taxes, do you want to pay state and local taxes? Is your business located inside of a city where you're paying state, city, and county taxes? Do you want to move out to the county? These are all things in all kind of scenarios that you have to run through. And what incentives? Incentives are good, right? You're not eligible for incentives unless you have your business registered. There are incentives out there for small businesses, minority owned businesses, hub zones, right? These are zones that are in underserved communities that, they want to put more investment in. So hub zones are one of the things you can look at when you're picking your business location. Business structure. What's the business structure? Well, this is pretty important. This is the one where I would implore you to kind of get some advice from someone who's been in business for a while. Um, if you have a lawyer friend, that would be the best person to talk to. But the business structure is going to determine how you're taxed. And so you have a limited liability corporation. You have a corporation where you're a solo entrepreneur, right? Then you have corporations, C Corps, which is your large corporations like Nabisco, Nestle, your Fortune 500 companies. And then, as you become a larger entity and you're making a certain amount of money between 150, 200,000, for tax purposes, you might want to move into something that's called an S Corp. But and you can go ahead and change from an LLC to an S Corp using federal document. I think it's 2358, but I'll go ahead and put that in the chat a little later. And actually, that'll be on the information I send you, because we all want to make over 200,000, right? So when you're looking at these, compare your liability, like what type of liability you have. There's going to be different personal or business liabilities depending on the type of corporation that you go ahead and register your business under. You may have more protection under the S Corp versus the LLC. But go ahead and look on the business guide site that I'll provide at the end of the actual briefing, and also talk to a law professional if you get an opportunity. But there's a lot of information out there. Most people start off light, they start with an LLC, and as they scale and grow, they move into the S Corp. Very, very important. So if a tree falls in the wood and no one's hear it, did it happen? Not to people who didn't hear it. We don't care. So if you don't have a business name or entity, does your business exist? If you choose a business name or entity that is already in play or that it already has a trademark, you could set yourself up for a suit. So this choosing your business name is very, very important. So as you choose your business name, you want to put some protections on your business name. First, when you're going out for your business name, you're looking for it. You go on a site, you put in, the names. There's sites out there where you can actually check to make sure that the name is not being used already. You can go to the federal trademark site, type it in, make sure that that name is not trademarked. So when you're looking at that, you want to have protections on your property, on your name, because your name is very important, right? Your business name is just as important as your personal name. So when you register your business name, your entity name at the state, you get state protection. When you trademark your name and you file the paperwork, you get federal protection. And as you start to venture, you do your marketing. And if you're not in a brick and mortar, even if you are, I recommend you get a website. Your domain name, once you purchase it and you own it, that provides you some protection on your business website. right? So you have to be real careful because uh, there's a lot of phishing, hacking going on, but that's another class I give. So make sure you're choosing the correct business name and you're going and doing the right things registering your business name. So what are you going to do to register your business? How are you going to get those protections I talked about in the last slide? Well, one of the things you're going to do, you're going to go over to the IRS page. You're going to type in EIN number, get an EIN number. You're going to get a federal tax ID, an EIN number. That is just like a social security number for your business. What that's going to do as you start to receive income and for your name in your business, you separate it. The money that comes to your business goes under your EIN. When you file taxes, when you get to a certain point at S Corp, you can file them separately. But if you're LLC and you're not making a lot, most likely you're filing that together. So what else are you going to do? You're going to register with your state. You're going to go to your state, your Secretary of State site, type in register a new business at your own Secretary of State site. Once you get to that Secretary of State site, go ahead and answer those questions and register a new business. I recommend before you go there that you do your articles of organization. You work with a professional, get your articles of organization. Basically, that's what you're saying is just how your business is formed. Who are the officers in your business? Who are your CEOs, your founders? How are you going to do your basic business? Who's going to be your agent as you're doing these things? Also, when you're in larger cities and depending on what type of business you also have to register with local agencies like the City of Atlanta, College Park, Brookhaven. If you're in South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina, right? So they all want a piece of the business. They all want some tax money, but also you get some protection, right? We talked about the federal and state protection. And also, that's when you can go ahead and take your business and start to get some help and some mentorship and some assistance from SBA and some of the other programs they have out there. All right, so we talked about apply. You have to apply, go get your tax IDs, your federal IDs, and your state tax IDs. So I kind of expanded on that a lot in the last slides. But you have to do that. You have to make sure you have your tax IDs, your EINs, and your state tax IDs. Make sure you're checking to see if you need something for the city as well. Don't forget them because you don't want to go ahead and have a business for a few years. Go ahead and try to start doing business with local and city government and find out, oh, you have to go back and have back taxes or go back and get a state tax ID or a city, something from the city. All right. So if you're in construction or you're working in cybersecurity or a CPA doing audits, sometimes you have to have like specialty licenses, specialty license to show they're the proof of your expertise, right? They're also proof that you're conducting business safely and you understand the business you're conducting, and you're not going to do something to cause harm to people. And that kind of goes back to that liability thing, right? The state and the city and the federal government, they have liability. They want to make sure that your business, what you're doing, you understand what you're doing and you're not causing more harm than good. So, but you also have to understand, like heavy regulated businesses are governed by federal and state laws and regulations. So if you're out there and you're moving like nuclear hazardous waste or something like that, you have to move it a certain way. You have to have certain equipment. You have to do certain paperwork to move down a highway. Heavily regulated industry. So whatever industry you're doing, go ahead and do the research, right? We talked about doing research to growth mindset, and see if you need that. Register for federal licenses if you need it, state, local licenses, construction, things like that. So apply, make sure you have the correct licenses and permits. They're usually annual requirements. Some are every couple of years. So, make sure you have that. And sometimes you have to display that insight on the wall at your place of business. And then you have to be registered and put inside your actual state license information. So the last thing, the money, 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 money. Most people get this wrong. I say again, most people get this wrong. If you're making money in your business, you need to have a business account. Let me say this again. If you have a business and you're making money in your business, you need to have a business account. You need to separate your business from your personal finances, because it is going to be a disaster and very hard to pull those things apart during tax season. And all those benefits you talked about, I talked about earlier, for registering to do that, you lose a lot of those benefits. So what I want you to do, I want you to do careful research, see what bank fits what you're doing the most. Sometimes it's a bank that's right around the corner so you can put your hands on your money. Sometimes it's a digital bank. But go ahead and do the research and see which banks are the friendliest to the type of industry that you're in or that you feel comfortable working with. You want to find a bank that's going to cater to you as a small business owner. Collect your documents. What documents you're going to need? You cannot open a bank account for your business without having the correct documentation. Some of that documentation is going to be your EIN number. We talked about your articles of organization earlier. You're going to have to fill out a signature card. And some banks may ask for additional information, but that's the basic information that you're going to need to open a bank account in your business name. So that's going to bring about opening a bank account in your business name is going to bring some advantages that you don't have as a private citizen. Could open up trade lines that you can use that, you have some liabilities, responsibility for, but also as your business starts to grow and get older, there's some trade lines you have where you have no personal liability at all. So once you do all that, open your account. And I say again, separate your business and personal expenses. So this is one of the last slides, but I want to talk about something after you get started. I want to talk to you about developing your business strategy. One of the most important things about your business, we haven't mentioned in the earlier slides, is value. Without providing value to a customer, you don't have a business that's going to work. I say it again. You must provide value to the customer. So this is a values-based business strategy. There's other strategies that are out there. Once you get started, of course, you want people to know and understand your name. So you're going to do marketing strategies, right? You're going to learn a little bit about marketing. There's great books out there that can help and assist with marketing. But first thing, define your purpose. What is your purpose? Why are you here? What service do you provide? What are you bringing? And does that service provide value? All right, the next thing, you want to assess the market opportunity. You've already done that, right? You've already looked at what's going on out there, but you want to go ahead and do another strategy-based assessment. You want to create, of course, value for your customers. If they see your product or they hear you talking, they want to feel that you want to talk clearly because they want to feel, hey, this person has the knowledge, this person has the ability to help me with a problem that I can't solve on my own. There's an obstacle that I can't get past. You're trying to help them get from A to Z, get through that obstacle because you've been there already and you're assisting them, right? Could be something as simple as going back to those flip-flops. They're on the beach, but they didn't bring their flip-flops. Hey, I'm selling flip-flops on the beach. They were $1.99 over there. Here they're $5, right? So you're helping them get through something. You're creating value for the customer. You also want to create value for your suppliers and your vendors. What do I mean by that? Well, if you want to sell a product, right, you want to buy it for the cheapest. You want a good quality product that's cheap. So there's more room for you to get profit once you add the price in there. Well, if you provide value to your suppliers, meaning that okay, I'm going to buy this and I want to buy this product, but I'm going to buy in bulk because I know and I understand and I did my forecasting and I did my finance forecasting and I can buy 1,000 t-shirts. And he's going to say, okay, well, I can make that cheaper. Or if you're buying something and you buy from a local guy versus buying from somebody that's far away, and instead of doing shipping, you can go pick things up. So doing things, providing service to people, because remember, you're a business, you don't just provide service to your customers, you provide service to everyone that you interact with under your business name. You have to protect your business name. So you provide service to your suppliers as well. And one of the things that's happening right now, a lot of people are saying, I can't keep employees. Nobody wants to work. These people are so lazy. But if you go back and you ask and you look at their business strategy, are they treating their employees right? Are they paying the employees right? They may not be able, depending on what type of industry you're in, you may not be able to provide what's a living wage or a lot of money, but there's other things that you can provide. Remember, we talked about benefits, right? 401k, you can provide benefits for education. And that education doesn't always have to be in a brick and mortar location. If I'm doing cybersecurity and I do training in my organization, guess what? My suppliers already gave me some classes that I can go ahead and turn around because they have value, they're worth something, and say, as a benefit, I will help you become a better cybersecurity expert by taking these classes. You can say, hey, that's a benefit. I paid for it. You can write that off. But you're also providing service and value to your employees. So you have to be innovative. You have to think of a way in today's very harsh employment conditions to make sure that you're getting the best employees and you're doing the most you can to keep them. And then you have to map a strategy of actionable tasks and KPIs. We talked about KPIs earlier, right? Your financial KPIs, but also as you're looking at your business and you're looking at the things you do on a day-to-day business, right? On a day-to-day basis. So you're putting out your standard operating procedures. Could be something as simple as, hey, what's my procedures for writing an email? Let's use that. That's very simple. Well, an email is simple, right? But most people don't write an email and have the signature block from the company on it. So, oh yeah, they need to have the signature block. They need to make sure they have the approved signature block on it. They need to make sure that they use the proper greeting. They need to make sure on this email it has my proper copyrighted symbol or picture. So there's a lot of things. But remember, when you're doing a strategy, you have to ask key questions. And from this article and from this my research, hey, there's 3 questions that this guy that he asked himself to come up with a strategy. How can my business create what? Value. Key word here, value for my customers. How can my business create value for who? The employees. How can my business create value? By collaborating with my suppliers. You collaborate with your suppliers, you're innovative, you work around, your costs will be less. If your costs are less and your prices stay the same, what happens? It's more profit, right? Goes back to the finance acumen that we talked about earlier. So that's just one basic strategy, something that you can do to go ahead and improve your business. But like I said, there's marketing strategies out there, and finance strategies. So there are all types of things you can do to improve your business. But that is the end of the briefing. What I'll do right now, I will go ahead and open up the line so you can talk and ask questions. Remy, could you unmute? While he's unmuting, here are some of the actual links that I told you we'll have at the end. The SBA, I have the actual Metro Atlanta Chamber of Commerce here. But on the next slide, I have the U.S. or the National Chamber of Commerce. They have a link on there where we can find the local Chamber of Commerce in your area. Here we have the University of Georgia Small Business Development Center. Through the SBA, there are a lot of local universities. For example, I am pretty sure that the University of South Carolina has one. NYU has small business development centers. And basically what these centers do, they work with you to help you grow and develop your business. If you want to work with the federal government, they have what's called Apex accelerators, but they also give very, very, very good free, I say that again, very good free business development classes. I'm in a class at least 3 to 4 times a week from the Georgia Tech Apex Accelerator or even Chicago. I get them from Chicago, the SBA. So, but there are some actual classes they charge $20, $30 for. And then there's that DISC personality test that I said I'll go ahead and put in that document when I send to you. U.S. Chamber of Commerce. For all the veterans out there, we don't want to forget you. Thank you for your service, first of all. But there are a lot of programs out there through the SBA. You have and VA, and from VA you have the Veteran Entrepreneur Program. A lot of helpful information on there to help you become an entrepreneur, help you out. Boost the Business in the Veteran Business Opportunity Center Program, Outreach Center Program to help you out as well. So the floor is open for questions.
Yes, so the guests, they can unmute themselves. If they have, anyone has a question for you, they can ask it. So
okay. Just to maintain order, I'd like just ask on the bottom, if you go ahead and raise your hand, I'll go ahead and call you in the order that your hand is raised, just so we can maintain order and everybody get their questions. Not all at once. No questions out there.
I don't see any questions, bro. Well, since we have any questions, we can go ahead and close this out, and then we'll go ahead and shut down the actual meeting.
All right. Well, in closing, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone that showed up. We are recording this, so the people that would like to see it in the future, this is recorded, so we'll go ahead and put this on our YouTube channel, and I'll also be putting this on social media. But if you have any additional questions, when I provide the actual list, I'll provide my email address. And if you have any more information, you want to ask additional questions or just network and build businesses together, I'm around. So thank you very much. Everyone have a good evening. God bless you.